In today's world of market volatility and uncertainty, your retirement plans need to be front and center. With ever-changing tax laws, healthcare worries, and an unpredictable stock market, don't overlook the vulnerability in your retirement planning. Protecting your family and estate will be difficult with shifting policies in Washington. It's more important than ever to keep an eye on retirement.
Hi, and welcome into Eye on Retirement, the weekly show that keeps you in the know about all things retirement. I'm your host and financial advisor with Market Advisory Group, Rick Everett, along with the full complement of panelists for this episode, to include founding partner and financial advisor at Market Advisory Group, Larry Kloefkorn, our lead CPA with Market Tax Services, Joshua Cicora, with Market Medicare Advisors, healthcare advisor, Trey Basa, and our lead attorney with our estate planning team, Eidelman Law Firm, Gerald Eidelman. Welcome in, everyone. For the first two segments this week, we're going to take a look at two different cases that Larry has dealt with recently. Larry, tell us about your first set of clients.
All right. Well, the first couple that I met with, they have a modest retirement nest egg. There's been surveys done, if you could go back and do something different, what would you do different? And it's amazing. It's always the same question or same answer. And that is, I wish I would have saved more money. No matter how much they've saved, they always wish they would have saved more. But so this modest financial package that they had, they were excited about being at Market Advisory Group because they felt there was so much unknown, and they felt that we had the capabilities of handling it for them.
Trey Basa, Market Medicare Advisors, when you have people that are retiring and they have a modest nest egg that they're working with, and they're looking at working for an additional period of time, 2 or 3 years. How do you advise them when they're that far out with their actual planning for Medicare?
Half the problem is understanding when everybody's going to move to Medicare and when everybody's going to be in that full retirement mode. So when we're looking at one person retiring and the other still continuing to work for a number of years, what we see is that the spouse that is continuing to work, they can keep their health insurance and the person that has retired on that health insurance as well. So it's not necessary to move to Medicare right then and there. Of course, it comes down to what does that premium cost? What does the deductible look like on the workplace insurance? And how's it going to play out for the next few years? Knowing when everybody is going to hit that hard retirement date, move into Medicare and start enjoying their retirement is really important to understand in this equation.
So Larry, you've got these two clients, one of them planning on retiring now, one of them planning on working for another 2 or 3 years. What else did these folks have that needed to be addressed immediately?
Well, they were concerned about taxes, like so many people are. They didn't have a specific problem, which is a good thing, right? And it's just a matter of they felt there's so much unknown. They were at one of our educational workshops around town, and they caught the part where this particular tax set that we have right now is going to sunset.
And Joshua, Market Tax Services, how did you go about talking with these folks about this new chapter in their lives?
Yeah, I think it's probably not a big surprise that one of the scariest things is the unknown. You don't know what you're getting into, and that always makes it scarier. And so the more we can kind of speak into that at the onset, I think it gives just more comfort to them as they start to navigate into retirement. A lot of times in this situation, we'll use the metaphor of crossing a stream, right? On one side, you're fully employed. On the other side, you're fully retired. And as you get across this, river, there's rocks you have to avoid. There's treacherous currents and problems you need to steer clear of. And so if we can talk into what needs to happen over the next several phases as they make this transition, we talk about making sure the withholdings are queued in. They've spent their working careers making sure that everything is teed up just right, and how to navigate that into retirement, how to make sure their portfolio is tax optimized, so this way they're in charge of how the taxes are dealt with instead of just kind of suffering through the currents. The more we can give that background context to people, the more comfort they'll have as they start to move into the retirement phase.
So Larry, you've got a couple with a modest nest egg that they've accrued throughout their working lives. One of them retiring now, one of them retiring in 2 or 3 years, and you've brought in a healthcare advisor and a tax advisor thus far.
Right.
I'm curious to know as to whether or not they had an estate plan in place.
Well, I asked them about that, and they did say that the last time they did anything with an estate plan was a will, but their kids were all little at the time. Now they were all grown up, had their own careers and all of that. So I told them, I said, you can't imagine how important it is to bring that up to date.
Gerald, Eidelman Law Firm, estate plans like financial plans and tax planning, all of these things that are tied to retirement, they're not set it and forget it type events. And I think a lot of people have that in their mind. Well, I have a will, albeit it's 25 years old, but I have a will.
Right, and the problem is that, circumstances change. In this case, when you set up in an estate plan, when you have young children, one of the things you try to do is protect the children from themselves should you die before they become full adults. Once they're grown, then the whole dynamic shifts as to what you're trying to do for your kids. At this point now, you're trying to leave them something, a legacy to them from the assets that you have accumulated. Now, in this particular case, Larry was talking about how they had a modest estate. But the fact is that people think a modest estate, what they think of a modest estate, it may not be such a modest estate. It may be a sufficiently large estate to think about protecting it. In this case, they had a home that had been paid for now for several years. It was worth a few $100,000. It had increased in value since they bought it 30-some years ago. And this was something that they could pass on to their kids and protect. They had retirement accounts, which is what they came to see Larry for. But those accounts are difficult to protect just because the laws and the way things are set up. The only way to protect them is to remove them from being a retirement account and cash them out, and nobody wants to pay that kind of taxes. So what you wind up doing is you want to try to protect what you can just in case that little boogeyman comes out called long-term care. People sometimes talk to me and tell me, oh, well, it's not going to happen to me. My dad, my mom lived to 102 years old in their house. But the fact is that nobody knows. The statistics are that 50% of people over 65 will have a long-term care event. And when that happens, a long-term care event can decimate your estate. And this is the part where we come in and we help you protect what you can. And in this case, we could do what's called a Medicaid Asset Protection Trust to preserve the asset of the house and make sure that after 5 years in that trust, the children and the grandchildren will be able to enjoy the assets that they have worked so hard to build.
Larry, you're a financial advisor. You've told me about these clients. We've talked to a tax professional, a Medicare professional, an estate planning professional, and I'm sure you came into play as well.
Well, that's right. And, every situation's a little different in terms of the timing of when they talk with the various other advisors. And, in this case, the first person they wanted to hear from really was Trey. I mean, they were concerned about this Medicare thing. I was sitting there and I thought to myself, really, they have nothing to worry about. And Trey came in, though. He's the expert. He was able to tell them, nope, you're fine. Here's what you need to do. This will be our game plan. Let's plan on this. That's what they wanted to hear. They wanted to hear that we got them, that if they come here, we've got them.
When it comes to retirement planning and things don't go right, you can feel a little bit like a frog in a hailstorm. Sometimes there's very little room for error, and any little mistake could be your downfall. Market Advisory Group is here to help when your distress call comes in. But if you'd like help before you get lost in the first place, you can set up a complimentary, no-obligation visit with our team by calling us at 316-252-8707. And be sure and check out our website at ionretirement.com. In the next segment, we'll transition to another case that Larry helped with, and that comes your way right after this.
Out on the water, there is a moment. Perfect synchronization. The team working together in harmony to reach their goal. Now, imagine finding a team of financial professionals to help run your course down the river of retirement. Market Advisory Group is that team. Financial advisors, tax professionals, estate planning attorneys, and Medicare advisors. All in the same boat. If you don't have a team like this in one place, it can become a hassle to relay information between them. When you come to Market Advisory Group, we bring everyone together for you. To get you answers in real time. To help make sure you don't miss something that puts your unique plan off course. You shouldn't be the one doing all the work to keep your retirement on pace. You should have a team in the boat with you. Your voice telling them where you're at, where you'd like to end up, and how you want to get there. And at that point, everyone falls into sync, all pulling in the same direction, toward the same purpose. Your retirement's financial security. We are Market Advisory Group, proud sponsor of Shocker Rowing.
Hi, and welcome back into Ion Retirement. Larry, for this segment, we're going to talk about a different couple that you recently worked with, Alan and Gina. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about their situation, if you would.
Well, I first met them several years ago, and we had, a great conversation in that first appointment. I can remember back to that particular time, and when they arrived there, they again were coming from an educational workshop that we had done in town. Now, Gina was the one actually retiring at that point. He was already retired. And so more than anything else, he was just managing their portfolio. Well, there was a portion of that, a pretty good portion of that was actually from her work over the years, okay? Now, she was very interested in what we were doing, so was he. However, he was conflicted because his lifelong friend was his financial advisor. Mm. So, but she really wanted to come over and have me manage her money, and so that's what we ended up doing. However, recently now, he's been blindsided by a life-threatening cancer diagnosis. And so, because he's watched all along and he's appreciated what I've done here, he wants to go ahead and get his money moved over here so that we can begin taking care of things just in case this doesn't have a good outcome for his health.
So in a situation like this, I would have to guess one of the first things that you'd want to address is the estate plan.
Right.
Gerald Eidelman Law Firm. What do you do when you consult with someone in a situation like this?
Well, the first thing that I was concerned with them is what happens if Alan becomes incapacitated. How is he going to speak for him? Who's going to speak for him? So the first thing I talk to them about is powers of attorney. There's two aspects. One is a power of attorney for health, and there's a power of attorney for finances. And they both allow the person you appoint to do different things. In this case, if Alan, for some reason, became incapacitated and couldn't access his financial affair, his finances, then without a power of attorney, Gina would have been limited in do what she could have done. She couldn't touch his IRA, she couldn't touch any retirement funds that he had accumulated. And so all these funds that might be helpful to Alan while he's recovering. Going through cancer treatment sometimes puts you out. It doesn't necessarily mean that you die, but it means that you may not be capable of engaging in a lot of different things. You may be on drugs that are keeping you enabled and incapacitated from being able to make decisions. So I wanted to make sure that both of them have powers of attorney for each other, and especially Gina for Alan, so that if something were to happen to Alan, whether it be complete incapacity or a temporary incapacity, Gina could step in and be able to conduct their affairs just the way they were doing beforehand. That was the first importance. And then, of course, we were concerned about, well, what happens if Alan passes away? How are these assets going to pass to Gina? How are these assets going to pass to their kids? And then we began to have a discussion on setting up a trust for the kids and grandkids, because they had intentions of leaving a legacy beyond just their kids. And so as we discussed these matters, it became clear to them that we needed to have something set up fairly soon, just in case. And that's what we proceeded to do.
Larry, two different cases and really two completely different, unique sets of circumstances.
Yeah, and that's the big lesson here that I hope all of our viewers pick up on now, is that it doesn't matter the size of your estate. It doesn't necessarily matter how long you've been retired or whatever these additional circumstances are. You need a full team. You need someone who can speak into your particular situation about taxes, someone with knowledge and someone with a game plan, okay? The same thing to go with Medicare. No matter what stage you are at, you need to have an estate plan. So I think that's a big lesson out of these two examples.
You know, when time is of the essence, you don't want to be slowed down by having to tell different advisors at different companies the details that need to be in place as soon as possible. At Market Advisory Group, we take the weight off your shoulders. Our financial advisors can talk to our estate attorneys, our healthcare advisors can visit with our tax professionals, and we can quickly dot all the I's and cross all the T's so that you can focus on the more important things in life. If you'd like to visit with Market Advisory Group, give us a call, 316-252-8707. And be sure and check out our website at ionretirement.com. There you can watch past episodes or even submit a question for us to possibly answer on a future show. In our last segment, we answer one of those viewer questions, and it comes your way right after this.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have. By running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no-obligation, full-blown financial review today.
I need a place to go to see about my investments. Ask my friends if they know about holistic retirement. Everything in one place. Estates, taxes, and Medicare. People meeting face to face. Advisors to help me get there.
At Market Advisory Group. Retirement under one roof. At Market Advisory Group. We're invested in you.
Hi, and welcome back into Ion Retirement. You know, we talk a lot about viewer questions, and for our final segment, we're going to talk about a viewer question. But first, if you'd like to submit a question to possibly be featured on our show, you can do so at ionretirement.com. And if we answer your question on air, we'll even send you a free bit of Ion Retirement swag. Umbrellas have been popular choices, but we also have hats, tumblers, glasses. So go ahead and submit that question. Today's question comes from John. John asks, when it comes to Social Security and my 401k, which should I draw while letting the other grow? Larry,
Yes.
What advice do you have on this question?
First, every situation is unique. Everyone's facts and circumstances. I learned that little saying from Joshua. Everyone's is different. No two people are exactly alike. So what's important is focus on not only maximizing, you want to look at how to maximize it, but then you want to look at optimizing it. And what that means in this context is what best fits your circumstances for your household. If you're married, it may affect you different than if you're single, you know, and depending on what age you are and what the life longevity is that you expect to have. So all of these things matter. And I'll tell you, one of the things that is unique is that a lot of times people think that, well, I'll just live off my retirement nest egg and I'll let that Social Security part, you know,
Roll up
and grow. And I'll just ask them, okay, think about the whole picture here. And that would be every month you're passing up that check. That starts adding up. And then you times it times years. It starts to make a dent.
Joshua, the producer, just slid another question in, so I'm going to be real quick with this one. Thank you, Larry. The question is, my CPA doesn't give me any advice or strategies. How is your company different? Joshua, what would you say to that answer or question?
The short answer is that we sit down, or I sit down with Larry and the other advisors, and we do develop advice and strategies during the course of the year. And it really comes down to, would you rather have a coach or a scorekeeper? The tax advisor or the tax professional who's just doing the return is really like a scorekeeper, right? The game's over, they're tallying up the results and letting you know how it turned out. Or would you rather have the coach, the one who's telling you, try this play, do this, do that, to get a different outcome during the course of the year, and then scorekeep at the end? Well, you know, how do you want it to to play out. I think if you're running with the coach, you're going to see a better result at the end of the year on your tax return, not just in that year's tax return, but also for your lifelong tax situation.
We have to respond to every unique situation that's placed in front of us. And I'm going to do a quick roundtable here real quick. Gerald, Eidelman Law Firm, ever had 2 estate plans exactly the same?
Nope. No.
Trey Basa, Market Medicare Advisors, 2 Medicare plans exactly the same?
Nope.
Joshua, tax planning?
Not so much.
Larry, I think safe to say?
That would be too easy.
Each plan that Market Advisory Group puts together for our clients, whether it's an estate plan, a Medicare plan, a tax plan, or financial planning, they're all as unique as that person's fingerprint.
Right.
And that's the beauty of being able to have a whole team go to work for you and make that custom plan.
That's right.
These are just some of the questions we receive every day at Market Advisory Group. If you're worried about your upcoming retirement, or if you're already retired and feel like it's not going as smoothly as you had hoped, you can come see us for a complimentary, no obligation visit where we can discuss your concerns. At Market Advisory Group, we're here to help. To set up that visit, reach out right now at 316-252-8707. Again, the number 316-252-8707, and be sure and check out our website at ionretirement.com. That's all the time we have for this week. I'm Rick Everett, along with the entire team, reminding you we're here to keep an eye on retirement.
Unless otherwise indicated, all client and prospect names mentioned on this show have been changed to protect the identities of the individuals discussed. Investment advisory services are offered through Foundations Investment Advisors LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The content provided is intended for informational and educational purposes only. The views, statements, and opinions expressed herein are those of the individual speakers and not necessarily those of Foundations and its affiliates. The information contained herein does not constitute an offer to sell any securities or represent an express or implied opinion or endorsement of any specific investment opportunity, offering, or issuer. Any discussion of performance or returns are not indicative of future results. Each individual investor situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Foundations only transacts business in the states where it is registered or excluded or exempt from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by security regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. No legal or tax advice is provided. Always consult with a tax professional. Legal services are offered by Eidelman Law Firm. Tax services offered by Market Tax Services. Market Advisory Group does not provide legal or tax advice. Any comments regarding safe and secure investments and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not in any way refer to investment advisory products. Rates and guarantees provided by insurance products and annuities are subject to the financial strength of the issuing insurance company, not guaranteed by any bank or the FDIC. The guest commentators featured in this show are not investment advisor representatives of Foundations and do not provide advisory services. Market Advisory Group does have several investment advisor representatives that can provide such services. This is not endorsed or affiliated with any U.S. government agency, the Social Security Administration, or associated with any federal Medicare program. We do not offer every plan available in your area. Any information we provide is limited to those plans we do offer in your area. Please contact Medicare.gov or 1-800-MEDICARE to get information on all of your options. A Roth conversion may not be suitable for your situation. The primary goal in converting retirement assets into a Roth IRA is to reduce the future tax liability on the distributions you take in retirement or on the distributions of your beneficiaries. The information provided is to help you determine whether or not a Roth IRA conversion may be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Please review your retirement savings, tax, and legacy planning strategies with your legal/tax advisor to be sure a Roth IRA conversion fits into your planning strategies. All rights reserved.